So actually, we have already finished this another lakkhana soda in the last week. So last week, so today I want to review the questions for our exam. So this is the question for the another lakkhana soda. So write a critical review of the another lakkhana soda. So very short question, so you can write. So this question according to your understanding. But in this case, so I would like to suggest when we write such a question, so we need to emphasize the 4 factors. So the first one is introduction. The first one is introduction. So after that, so we need to mention the concise summary. So not summary, so this one is concise. Concise summary means so we don't need to mention in detail. So we have to mention we need to mention the main points. So in this, another lakkhana soda, so last week we have already discussed 4 kinds of main points. So based on those 4 kinds of main points, so the third one you have to make the evaluation. So introduction, concise summary of the soda, and then evaluation. The last one is conclusion. So when we write critical review of something, so these 4 items must be included in our writing at least. So these 4 conditions must be included. The first one is introduction. The second one is concise summary. So the third one is evaluation. The fourth one is conclusion. So at least so these 4 conditions or factors must be included in our critical writing of something or critical review of something. So please remember these 4 items. So introduction, concise summary, evaluation, and conclusion. So very easy for us. So this one is open question. You can write down so your answer according to your understanding of another lakkhana soda. So we don't need to memorize. So you can write down, so based on those 4 factors, so introduction, concise summary, evaluation, and conclusion. So based on these 4 factors, you can mention your critical review of another lakkhana soda. So if your answer does not mention so these 4 factors, so you cannot get many marks. So that is why at least we need to emphasize these 4 factors. Mainly, we have to emphasize 2 factors, concise summary and evaluation. So these 2 factors are main point among these 4 conditions. So this is the question for the another lakkhana soda. So another discourse is a Vidaka Santana soda. For the Vidaka Santana soda, so I have already given the question. So discuss how to manage our events based on the Vidaka Santana soda. So when we prepare for that question, first of all we need to mention the types of thinking. Types of thinking. First of all we need to mention the types of thinking. According to Vidaka Santana soda, the Buddha mentioned 3 types of thinking. So those 3 types of thinking are very familiar with all of you. And then, so we need to understand another point, which is the main point of this Vidaka Santana soda, 5 ways of removing. 5 ways of removing. After that, the third one, we need to mention the third one, benefits of removing evil thoughts. So for the Vidaka Santana soda, we need to remember or we need to understand 3 factors. So types of thinking, ways of removing, benefits of removing evil thoughts. So as long as we understand these 3 factors, we can easily write down the answer to the question of Vidaka Santana soda. So types of thinking, way of removing, and then benefits of removing evil thoughts for the Vidaka Santana soda. So you need to write down so like this. This is for the Vidaka Santana soda. What about the Mahaprabha soda? Do you remember the question? So we need to explain so 3 qualities which cannot lead to spiritual maturity or spiritual progress mentioned in this in that Mahagopalaka Sutta. The first one is failing to remove the brightness. What about the second one? Failing to know the fault. No? Failing to know the fault. The third one is failing to respect the error. No? Respect the error. So regarding these three qualities, so we need to just mention the information in the according to the Mahagopalaka Sutta. We don't need to add any information. So mentioned in other discourses, we need to write down the original information mentioned in the Mahagopalaka Sutta. So we don't need to mention any information mentioned in other discourses. That is why from my side, three questions will come. Three questions will come from my side. I don't know others here. From my side, so three questions will come. So exactly these three questions will come in your exam. So you can prepare as you wish. So these are questions for the Mahagopalaka Sutta. Mahagopalaka Sutta. So do you have any question about this question? Very clear, no? I hope that you have no question to ask. So for the another lakkhana sutta, critical review of another lakkhana sutta, we have to write down that point. For the Vidyakasantana sutta, discussion about how to manage our evil thoughts. So for the Mahagopalaka sutta, we have to explain three qualities which cannot lead to spiritual progress mentioned in the Mahagopalaka sutta. Failing to remove the brightness, failing to know the fault, and failing to respect the elder. So these three qualities, so we have to explain. So that's all. Yeah. Elucidation. So you don't need to mention that point, so you have to mention. So I think my explanation is very clear. So regarding the Vidyakasantana Sutta, we need to mention 4 steps. So introduction. So you can write down according to your understanding. And then we need to mention the concept summary. Regarding the concept summary, I have already mentioned in the discourse. So the first 4 main points are mentioned in the Another Lakkhana Sutta. That is the concept summary of Another Lakkhana Sutta. I have already mentioned. You can look it visually. So the first one is the Buddha's attitude towards the 5 aggregate. The second one is how the Buddha explained the concept of Another Lakkhana based on the other characteristics, nature and dukkha. And then the Buddha mentioned how should we consider the 5 aggregates. So the Buddha mentioned, and then the Buddha mentioned the benefits of contemplating the Another Lakkhana. So these 4 items are called considered summary for the Another Lakkhana Sutta. So based on these 4 conditions, so you can make the conclusion or evaluation. So based on these 4 factors, you can evaluate. So Another Lakkhana is something like this. Another Lakkhana is, that is quite important. Another Lakkhana is very, very something like this. So you can make the evaluation. In the end, so based on the above 3 items of factor, introduction, concept summary, and evaluation, you can make the final decision or conclusion. So very simple, Shali. Yeah. Very simple. So you can write down. So if we understand clearly the nature of Another Lakkhana, so very easy. So we can make the conclusion like this. So we can reduce our attachment. For example, someone is leaving you. For example, no? Someone is leaving you. At the time that you don't need to be so strict. So this is the nature of another. So this is one of the benefits of understanding the another lakkhana. So we can understand like that. So in your conclusion, so you need to mention such a point at the time. It will be better for you. So especially for your conclusion or final decision. So it means so what kind of benefit so we can get by studying this another lakkhana sutta. So those points must be mentioned in the final decision or conclusion. So very easy. So we don't need to worry about that question. You can write down according to your understanding. So that is why such a question is called open-ended question, not closed question. But the question for the Mahagopalaka Sutta is closed-ended question. So you have to mention exactly the information mentioned in the Mahagopalaka Sutta. Your explanation is a little wrong. Your marks will be reduced. So such a question is called closed-ended question. I don't think we open question. So that's all for the second semester. See you. No, I don't want to see you again next year. Next year. Huh? So, if I wish to see you again in this class, yes, next day is okay. But if I see you in this class, in this time, that idea is okay. Okay, that's all for second semester. So you need to take care of your health and then good luck in your exam.
Good morning, Bandrivasa. We are studying BAB students. When we study from you, if we make mistake verbally and bodily, that is why you forgive us to them. Thank you, Bandrivasa. May you be happy, may you be healthy, may you attain Nibbana. Thank you, Bandrivasa.
As for me, thank you so much for all of you whenever I take the class. So thank you so much for listening to me patiently.